Hey guys, welcome back to another Chit Chat with Cass. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about fandom shaming. I guess that's what we'll call it. Maybe superfan bashing, or simply the task of making fun of someone for being passionate about something they love. Maybe you don't like it. Being an online bully or troll, any of these terms will kind of fit with what we are talking about today. So this is nothing new and has happened for years and years, of course, both in real life and the online world. This has really hit a lot with the years of the internet. The internet can be a very negative space, but this episode was really inspired by some hateful comments I saw on YouTube and Twitter and just some other online places after the new Star Wars trailer was released. A lot of fans, myself included, filmed their trailer reaction and posted them onto YouTube, which, a lot of people do this for many different fandoms, and I loved watching the reactions to the Rise of Skywalker trailer. I've watched so many of them. I enjoyed seeing everybody's reactions to the different parts of the trailer and so on. So when I started seeing the hate comments, it was mostly on videos that I had already viewed because I had watched so many reactions. For whatever reason, people like to shame, poke fun, bully even other people for simply enjoying something. In this case, it was the new Star Wars trailer. Some people got very excited in their videos. Some people got very emotional or were just very happy, looking forward to a new film in a series that they love so much. And for whatever reason, people felt the need to turn that into a negative thing. Like, as if we don't have enough negative energy in the world, you're gonna bash someone for enjoying something? That's what we're doing now? All right. It's a simple thought, really. Let people enjoy their life. Let them enjoy the movies they love, the shows they love, the books or the video games or whatever. Why is it becoming an acceptable thing to make fun of people for simply being excited or being emotional for something? Like wanting to show some enjoyment for something they love. Now, I know. The internet can be a very toxic place, and people do suck, okay? Humans are kind of horrible. I get that. But I wish that people could act more, kind, more, like a decent human being instead of using a screen to hide behind and leave hurtful comments. I think we see different levels of this as well. You have the outsiders that don't care for that specific fandom, maybe, that specific movie, show, whatever the fandom may be, right? So you have those outsiders that, maybe poke fun at the people that do enjoy it because they're an outsider. They're not part of that fandom. Then you also have people within a fandom, within a group of fans, that are just very toxic. And if you don't share the same opinion as them, you can fuck all the way off because you're wrong, they're right, and the toxicness spreads. Sometimes there is no agree to disagree when it comes to some of these fan bases. I'm not sure which is worse, the fans going at each other within one fandom, or the outsiders that don't understand that fan base making fun of people for the things that they don't care about or don't understand. I'm not sure which is worse, because all of it is very negative, all of it is very toxic, no matter if you are in the same fan base or if you are an outsider and you don't know anything about it. In no case should there be a reason to be so damn negative. And a great example of this is the Star Wars fandom. It can be very hit or miss for me with the fan base. There have been situations over the years where the Star Wars fan base has been extremely toxic. So maybe those type of comments should not have surprised me, but here we are. Things like bullying actors into not acting anymore or making them delete their social media. There are a lot of people that don't like the sequel trilogy. So maybe they don't want other people to feel excited for it. I don't know. It made me feel a bit disgusted when I saw and read the comments on some of these videos. It goes back to all troll or rude comments. Like, would you say that to a person's face? Or is it because you're online, like it's your online persona, you can say whatever you want and it doesn't matter if you're an asshole? Or like, are you really like that in real life? If so, maybe that's why you feel the need to hate on other people online for the simple act of being excited for something. There are going to always be negative and positive with fandoms or fan bases, fan groups, super fans, whatever you want to call them. So maybe those of us that are a bit more level-headed or positive need to work out a way to shut down the negativity and not allow such toxic groups to grow into fandoms that we like. And I think that's like an impossible dream. But working towards positivity, I think, is never going to be a bad thing, even if it's like a far-stretched dream. Maybe some of us could work towards that. Or, another example that I have seen on Facebook a lot lately has been Game of Thrones. So it obviously just ended its final season, so a lot of people were very hyped and excited for it to start that final season, and after each episode every Sunday, everyone was super excited. I'm personally not watching this season. I'm several seasons behind, sorry, but I pretty much know what's happening. Everyone was very happy and excited for it to be back. It has a huge fan following as well. And still, people felt the need to make fun of others for being excited. Now, I don't mean like the silly post that you're like, I haven't seen a single episode of Game of Thrones. It's like, okay, ha ha ha, right? No, I mean the people that comment on their friends' statuses and say, it's just a damn TV show. It's so annoying you're excited for this. I've seen these comments of, someone being excited, they're watching Game of Thrones, and someone on their friends list feels the need to tell them how stupid they are, how it's just a TV show, don't get so excited, go do something else. How dare you try to bring them down for the simple act of enjoying something? Jesus, what do you have going in your life that you have to be so rude about your friends simply enjoying a TV show? And some people will say that, if you get offended by these type of comments, you're being oversensitive, and I guess so, but it's not about being super sensitive or upset over a differing opinion. It's just the idea of letting people live their life, of letting people enjoy reading that book or going to see that movie in theater. And I feel like it could just bring up a whole different section of negativity. If someone is enjoying watching a TV show, they're watching Game of Thrones, right? And someone starts to bash them for enjoying that, is that going to take that excitement, that enjoyment out of watching a show? Is the rest of their night going to be just kind of down in the dumps because that one friend felt the need to be an asshole on Facebook? Life is shitty, okay? For a lot of us, life is so stressful. So why don't we just simply allow people to enjoy what they enjoy? It could be an escape for them. I know for damn sure watching my favorite movies, my favorite shows, even watching some YouTube videos is an escape from my life. And if I enjoy doing those things, who is it, somebody else, to tell me that I shouldn't enjoy that or I shouldn't be excited for that? This happens with so many things. I couldn't list them all. There's negativity and positivity in all walks of life. For example, I am not the biggest Star Trek fan, but I would never make fun of someone for liking Star Trek. Now, I will say I do tease people because everyone likes to joke that they are either a Trekkie or Star Wars fan, and I'm clearly a Star Wars fan, right? But I would never think to sit there and leave a hateful comment because I don't know the series, or I'm not part of the fandom, I'm not in the fan base. I would never think to watch a Star Trek review or reaction and sit there and tell the person how stupid they are for liking Star Trek. I don't understand that mindset. Just because I don't like it, or I'm not a huge fan of it, it's not like I hate Star Trek, I just am a much bigger Star Wars fan. But just because I am not at their fan level, it doesn't mean that I need to try and bring them down. And maybe this is a rare thought, maybe people just don't think like that. But I think that is the same way for any sort of hateful comments. And being a YouTuber, I see this a lot. I have a really amazing subscriber base, but I see that on other people's videos and occasionally on mine and things. And it's if you don't like something, why are you watching it? Why do you have to comment how much you hate it or how much the video sucks? If you don't like it, then just leave. That's kind of my mentality. And so the same thing is if you don't like someone's trailer reaction or you think they're like too emotional, or you think that they're too excited, then just click away. Like, let them live their life. No, you have to leave a comment about how stupid they are and try to bring them down, because that makes you feel so much better about yourself. For people that don't get into series or movies or shows, I guess they don't see the appeal. I've seen a lot of people outside of fandoms, like, they don't understand the world of being in a fandom or being a super fan of something, just enjoying something. I've seen people, they make fun of cosplayers because they think it's stupid dress up, or people that collect merch or figures. I've seen so many people get shit for that, when it's, once again, just something they enjoy doing. And they bully people who, once more, like, get excited for new releases, or they're gonna head to the theater on opening night, and nope, they have to tell them how stupid that is, and what a nerd they are, and how ridiculous that idea is. To them, it's not an accepted thing to do those sorts of things, like cosplay, merch, figures, going to different events for the fandoms. It's not an accepted thing for them. But then, let's turn it. Let's look to sports. Why is that an accepted thing? In life, I feel like in a lot of groups, it is more accepted to be a super fan of a sports team than, say, a movie series. It's the norm, but fan bases for other things isn't allowed. People that are super fans of sports, you cheer for your team, you buy the merch or the jerseys, you support the players, and you have in-depth talks, parties, events, playoffs, whatever, and so on. Now, I'm not really a sports person, so I would be an outsider on this portion. Do I see someone talking about a football game and leave a horrible comment on their status about how stupid they are for watching people toss a ball around? Absolutely not, because if they enjoy watching football, I'm going to let them live their life. I do, however, like basketball, and I've been really into the playoffs lately. So I do understand some of the excitement for, like, sports teams and so on. But it's just very interesting that being a sports superfan is a much more socially acceptable thing, while going to maybe, like, a Comic-Con or, like, dressing for a cosplay is not as socially acceptable when they're not that different. And, like, when you think to fans getting excited for, like, the Star Wars trailer that started this, I mean, I've seen some pretty big meltdowns over a team losing, and I don't know if, like, that gets as much hate because it's socially acceptable to be upset when your team loses, but to not, shed a tear when, your favorite character dies in something. So what's the difference between getting emotional over a team losing or winning versus something big happening in a fandom? Or, like people crying at Avengers Endgame, or getting excited to go see that film. What's the difference? Like, just let people like what they like. If they want to get excited over a basketball game, let them. If they want to go see Endgame 6 times in theaters, more power to them. So I read this article about fandom shaming, and I kind of liked the first line of it. It says, "Newsflash, no one likes a hater. Instead of wasting your time judging others for liking something you don't, focus on finding a fandom to enrich your own life. After all, fandom's big enough for all of us." I think that's perfect. Perfect. Go find a fandom that you like. And even more recently with different fandoms, you have like new content coming out, and sometimes like the immediate reaction is to post a petition to get it changed before like anything is even like set in stone. Like in the DC world, there's been mention that Robert Pattinson could potentially play the new Batman, and everyone hates that idea. They have the petitions to take it down. They don't want him. It's almost as if everyone is convinced that Edward Cullen would be playing Batman, completely misunderstanding that Robert Pattinson is in fact an actor and would be playing the part differently. Now, I'm a DC fan. I don't personally understand why they would de-age Batman at this point, but DC confuses my mind so much lately, which hurts my soul. But I'm willing to give people a chance when it's not even official that he's been casted yet, but the fan base is just like immediately like, no, let's petition it, let's get rid of it. with other petitions, people want the entire final season of Game of Thrones to be remade because they didn't like it. And I understand that it wasn't satisfying to a lot of fans. I pretty much know all the spoilers for the final season, but the answer isn't just to completely dismiss all the work that did go into that final season. Or the new Terminator trailer came out and there's a bunch of petitions to get that fixed or switched or not to come out or something. It's just oh my gosh. First of all, the Terminator trailer, it looks really interesting to me. I'm so excited that Linda Hamilton is back. And it's just give it a second. It doesn't have to be constantly filled with such negativity just because either you're really passionate about a fandom or you don't like the direction it's going. Give it a chance. And maybe it's not for you. I totally get that. But just take a step back. It doesn't have to immediately be a petition to end it or to recreate it. It's not necessary to be so over the top with the dislike for something that is happening when there's some people out there that are just simply enjoying the fandom to enjoy it. The same thing can be said for the form of shaming that comes from the people that don't think you are the right type of person for their fandom. For example, I'll just use Star Wars because, it's a big one for me. I've seen some butthurt people that don't like the female direction Star Wars has gone, or female leading characters, whatever, or they don't think Star Wars is for girls. I've been told this myself, that I'm so surprised you like Star Wars. It's not really for girls, is it? I've seen other people get hateful comments that, why are you reviewing this Star Wars thing? I mean, you're just a girl. People still say this. Oh my god, it's 2019. I've literally been told I won't know more about Star Wars because I'm a girl. I'm not as big of a fan because I'm a woman. I've been told these things. It's interesting, right? Well, sorry, but I've been a fan of Star Wars since I was apparently 4 years old, and Princess Leia was a pretty awesome character to look up to growing up. So please tell me more about how Star Wars isn't for girls, or Star Wars isn't for a certain type of people. I lose my shit when I see people hating on little girls cosplaying as Star Wars characters. This is legit something that people do. Go on Instagram, you can see people hating on children for dressing up as characters they love. What is wrong with your life? Are you so sad in your life that you have to hate on these little girls' cosplays of Princess Leia or an X-Wing pilot or a Jedi? Let the people live their life. Let the people enjoy the things they like, or let those people cosplay no matter how old they are. Little kids on up to elders. Let them live. Come on, guys. Let's reevaluate this. Similar things can be said for comic books with that fandom, DC, Marvel, or whatever company you were talking about. Some people are very picky about who they think should be allowed to be a fan. They will say things oh my god, you haven't read every single comic known to mankind, then you aren't a true fan. Or if people are new to the fandom, if they are new to comic books or to comic book movies, then they are dismissed. They can't be a real fan. They can't be a true fan because they're new. It would be nice to agree that there are different types of fans, some that have read every comic ever published, some that just go for the movies, some that are new to the world but should also be accepted and not hated on because if you enjoy a fandom, why don't you want to spread that positivity or happiness with someone else? I don't know if this is coming off corny, but if a fandom or a comic book or a comic book movie makes you happy, why don't you want other people to enjoy something like that? Why do you have to push them away and say, you're not a true fan? I saw some Instagram post bashing people for going to see Endgame, actually. It was something to the effect of, why would you go see that? You aren't a comic book person. And, when the person, tried to defend themselves, saying that they were very excited for it, they got caught up on all the films, they were prepared to go see Endgame, they were super hyped for it, and just excited. They were once more dismissed as not being a big enough fan or a true enough fan to be excited for Endgame. Who makes these rules? Who makes these rules? I'm sorry, did Stan Lee ever say that there was a rule book on who could love freaking Avengers and who could not? I think not. No. I think Stan Lee is looking down from the heavens and shaking his head at someone who would say that another one couldn't be a fan of Marvel. There's also the idea of if you don't like a fandom, don't watch it or don't read it or view it. I'm a big Charmed fan. I was like a huge fan of the show Charmed, the original. Now, they have made a remake, and I'm not a fan of that. I will openly say that I did not care for the first one. It wasn't for me, and I'm not watching it, but I stopped watching it. Instead of suffering through a show that I dislike, I just stopped watching it. And you don't see me here commenting on every post about how the new Charmed is horrible. And I hate it. And why are you watching the new Charmed? It's just a totally pointless show. Like, no. Because there are people that are enjoying the new Charmed. So I let them. It's not my life rule book to say that they can't enjoy the new Charmed just because I don't. Am I talking crazy? Do other people understand where I'm coming from of just letting people enjoy what they enjoy? Like, to each their own. I am comparing a lot of this to myself, but I'd like to think that there are other people out there that kind of have the same mindset of me. I'd like to hope. Like, enjoy your fandoms, respect other people's fandoms or interests, be kind to others. Yes, no, maybe so. I hope there are other people. Maybe you're listening to this and you're agreeing with everything I'm saying, or maybe you're listening to this and you think I'm freaking insane. While I was outlining this podcast, I actually found an article questioning if having fandoms, superfans, or fan bases is healthy. That it could be something psychologically wrong with those of us that have our favorite fandoms or our superfans. Once again, I am not a doctor, but do we have to make it sound so negative that people are just enjoying themselves with a fandom? Now, if someone is like stalking one of the stars, one of the actors of a series, or they think a soap opera star is real, like I just watched on Friends the other day, okay, maybe they need to tone it back a little bit. Maybe that's, needs a little bit of assistance, right? But the act of simply loving a fandom or a series or a movie, a video game, a book, I don't know. I just think that we put so many harsh critiques on people that enjoy these type of things when it's just, in very simple terms, a happy escape from real life for a lot of people. Like, going back to sports, like, I wonder if that same article would consider the fandom psychology problem the same as, like, being a super fan of sports, paying all that money to go to the Super Bowl, or buy all the jerseys, or have all these parties based around sports, and get upset when your team loses. I wonder if they would consider, that's the same psychological problem, when in both cases, whether that be sports or a fandom, people are just enjoying what they're like. Let them live. But as always, I would love to hear your thoughts as well. Is it unhealthy to be a super fan of something? Or enjoy different fandoms? What do you think about fandom shaming? Or being negative to people that enjoy something you don't like, don't understand, or just aren't as excited about? I think everyone should just let people live their lives and enjoy what they like. A few weeks ago, after I saw some of the negativity on some of those Star Wars reactions, I actually tweeted this out, and it pretty much sums up my thoughts. Morning thoughts. If you make fun of someone for getting excited over a movie coming out, show, trailer, book, anything that people love or are passionate about, you are a garbage person. I don't understand mocking someone for being happy. The internet is so negative sometimes. And that pretty much sums up my thoughts. If you guys agree with me that there should be more positivity into fandoms and people should not be shamed for getting excited for something that's coming out, I encourage you to leave more positive comments on things, especially if you see someone getting a lot of hate. A simple nice comment or positive comment can really change someone's day if they are having a hard time dealing with all the bullshit negativity. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. And I will see you guys in the next Chit Chat with Cass.